Welcome to the Deep Dive. We pulled together the key sources so you get the strategic edge. Today, we're focusing squarely on commercial trucking. It's an industry, well, getting some serious turbulence right now.
Turbulence is putting it mildly. What we're seeing is a collision, really. Systemic safety problems running headlong into, economic pain and the quiet creep of AI.
Yeah.
Drivers are feeling it big time. High financial stress from freight rates bouncing all over the place, and frankly, the old ways of doing things. They're buckling.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We're sifting through all this to figure out how you can build a real financial shield against this chaos. And look, we've been in this space. Since 2008, lifesaTrucker.com has helped folks get into trucking.
Right.
But now, the focus has shifted. This deep dive is really about helping you get out.
Yeah.
On your own terms.
That shift from getting in to getting out is absolutely crucial now. We're looking at two big pressures. First, this intense crackdown that's cleaning out the shaky parts of the system.
Okay.
And second, the automation, the AI, that's changing the job itself. You need a strategy that addresses both.
Let's start with that crackdown, the systemic cracks.
Yeah.
And honestly, nothing screams system failure louder than that massive CDL fraud scandal we just saw.
Oh, it was huge. A massive failure of oversight. It shook the whole supply chain. The investigation found over 1,700 drivers, mostly from India, had obtained licenses fraudulently. They've now been banned from operating commercially here in the U.S.
7,200. That's not just a few individuals. That points to something organized, right? How did it work?
Well, the sources describe a pretty sophisticated network. It apparently tied back to Punjab, India, and involved corruption inside several U.S. licensing centers. They used fake interpreters who basically fed answers, phony residency documents, and reportedly bribed officials. And maybe the worst part, some third-party testing centers allegedly just skipped the actual road tests altogether.
So you're saying thousands of people got the legal okay to drive an 80,000-pound rig without ever actually proving they could handle it safely according to U.S. standards.
That's exactly it. The main reason for the bans wasn't just about immigration papers, it was about immediate public safety. The DOT saw potentially thousands of unqualified drivers on the road, a huge risk.
Okay, so 7,200 drivers suddenly off the board. What does that do to the companies who were maybe relying on that quick supply of drivers? Does it expose their whole model?
It absolutely does. The impact is immediate. First, the driver shortage gets worse overnight. Second, and this really matters for you listening, insurance costs are jumping. Insurers, sea carriers might have been built on this shaky foundation of cheap, maybe non-compliant labor. Their risk assessment goes through the roof. So this isn't just pulling bad licenses. It's about forcing accountability across the board for hiring, for testing. It could make some companies financially unviable.
It feels like a reckoning. Years of maybe cutting corners, and now the structure's weak. And speaking of cutting corners, that leads right into another big financial risk for drivers. Misclassification. We hear about big names like Costco facing lawsuits over this. Why should truckers care?
Oh, they absolutely should care because misclassification is everywhere in trucking.
Yeah.
It's when a company treats you like an employee, setting your schedule, telling you exactly how to do the job, maybe even what truck to drive.
Right, micromanaging.
Exactly. But then they label you a 1099 independent contractor illegally.
Why? What's the gain for them? And what's the hit for the driver?
The gain is huge savings on labor costs. They dodge paying their share of payroll taxes, unemployment, workers' comp, overtime. It adds up. Maybe 30% savings for them?
30%.
Yeah. And that 30%, it doesn't just disappear. It lands squarely on the driver's shoulders. You end up paying the full self-employment tax, covering all your own insurance, taking on all the business risk, often without any of the real freedom of being your own boss.
And that's the engine behind so many of those 1099 company driver deals or those lease purchase programs that sound too good to be true.
Precisely.
But if everyone knows this is happening, why isn't it shut down more aggressively? Is the law fuzzy on this?
Well, it can be deliberately fuzzy sometimes. Companies use complex contracts to create, let's say, plausible deniability. They'll argue, oh, the driver could technically refuse a load, or they could work for someone else, even if the reality is you have to follow their rules to make ends meet.
Right.
The crucial takeaway for you is, when someone pitches, be your own boss, you have to dig into that contract. Make sure that independence is real, not just code for them offloading costs onto you.
Okay, that really sets the scene for the next big shift. We've got internal industry problems, fraud, misclassification, weakening the foundations, and that instability kind of opens the door for automation, doesn't it? Yeah. Let's talk about that second pressure, the algorithm in the cab. This gets wild. We're seeing tech from overseas aiming to change how U.S. trucking works.
Yeah, absolutely. The fact that the human systems struggled to police themselves, like with the CDL scandal, just speeds up the move towards data-driven management. And a prime example is call2action.ai. It's a startup from Kazakhstan, believe it or not.
Kazakhstan.
Yep, they just got $500,000 in pre-seed funding specifically to break into the U.S. logistics and trucking market.
Okay, so a tech company from Astana wants to manage American truckers. What exactly are they trying to automate?
Their goal is basically to automate a lot of the day-to-day management. Recruiting, dispatch, some HR functions. The AI handles initial driver screening calls. It analyzes past performance data, communicates route changes, load assignments. It's designed to replace, or at least augment, the human dispatcher and fleet manager with pure, cold data.
The immediate gut reaction has to be feeling like a number, right?
Yeah.
Arguing with a chatbot about why you're delayed instead of talking to a person who might understand.
That fear is real. And the reality is, hiring and management could get tougher because the AI. It only sees the numbers. It doesn't care about the context, that the unexpected road closure, the bad weather, that you're just plain exhausted. It scores you on metrics. Hours of service compliance, idle time, hard-braking events, on-time performance. If your metrics slip, the AI doesn't care why. It just flags you, potentially hitting your pay or your future loads.
That sounds incredibly stressful. Like the deck is stacked against the human element. How do you even compete with an algorithm?
Gee, that's the mindset trap. You can't fight it head on like that. The sources suggest this is more like chess. There's a hidden opportunity here. The tech actually rewards precision and proactivity. Drivers who get how these systems work keep immaculate logs, stay ahead of maintenance issues, communicate clearly and early through the system.
Ah, so you play the AI's game.
Exactly. Those drivers get prioritized. They get the better loads, the better pay. You have to master the metrics.
So it's about becoming hyper-professional, almost building your own brand within their system using data. Manage the freight, yes, but also manage the data about you.
Precisely. Manage your career like a business. Which brings us right back to the core solution we talked about, that financial shield.
Right, we've seen the system pushing out the unprepared through fraud crackdowns and misclassification draining wallets, and now AI demanding near perfection. For all the pain truckers are feeling, the only real security seems to come from taking financial control yourself.
That's the absolute truth. That shield has to be built with income streams outside the truck. Income that doesn't depend on the spot market roller coaster or what some dispatch algorithm decides. Our big focus now, our commitment, is training truckers like you on how to use AI tools, ironically, to build those extra recurring income streams. That's the real buffer.
So using AI not just to manage you, but for you to make money independently.
Yes. It's the ultimate protection against volatile freight rates or, sudden economic shifts.
And this isn't just pocket change. It's about regaining control, right? Making money online consistently means you decide when to retire, and it cushions the blow if your main trucking gig disappears because of all these issues we're seeing. How does that work, conceptually, building AI-powered income?
Well, it starts with understanding scale. Trucking is mostly one-to-one. One driver, one truck, one income source at a time. AI lets you create things, maybe automated services, niche websites, digital products that can serve many people simultaneously, even while you're driving or sleeping. We've actually put together a free guide and training on exactly this, how to use AI tools and specific strategies designed for truckers. You can find it over at our sister site, offdutymoney.com.
Offdutymoney.com. Okay.
The key is realizing the skills you already have, discipline, logistics planning, problem solving, those are valuable. AI helps you turn them into passive income.
That's a powerful shift in thinking. Physical labor to scalable, automated income. But even within trucking itself, there are still companies succeeding despite the chaos, right? Let's look at Hyfield Trucking. What did they do differently?
Hyfield's a great case study in smart growth. They didn't try to be massive overnight. They started lean, often with just one specialized unit, like a big Sprinter van. And crucially, they focused on high-value, time-sensitive, expedited freight.
Expedited. What's the advantage there? Why does that work better?
It's got higher barriers to entry. Think FedEx, Custom Critical, those kinds of networks. You need top-notch compliance, specific insurance, often proprietary tech. It naturally weeds out the lowball, less professional carriers. They chased value and urgency, which always commands better rates, instead of just chasing cheap miles.
Makes sense. And that quality focus extended to how they treated their drivers, too.
Absolutely, they treated them like partners, offered mentoring, and critically, they stayed away from those predatory lease purchase schemes that trap so many drivers. Hyfield built their business on quality service and strong partnerships, not on squeezing drivers or cutting corners. It's a sustainable model.
So professionalism pays off. And beyond specific company models, there's value in finding those stable niche routes, too. You mentioned building maintenance in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, that's a smart play if you want off the OTR roller coaster but still want to drive. Hauling things like HVAC units, materials for renovations, janitorial supplies. That demand is pretty steady year-round and often regional. It might not be glamorous, but it's reliable. And a lot of those runs get you home daily.
Can you give some examples of companies doing that kind of work?
Sure. Down there, you've got firms like Bama Maintenance Logistics. They focus on commercial cleaning supplies, steady routes, or Gulf Coast Facility Movers, handling stuff for office moves, industrial park maintenance. Good, consistent work, often for smaller fleets or owner-operators.
Okay.
And then there's Pritchard Maintenance Freight Cone, doing runs for local schools, universities, very defined routes, usually home every night.
Oh.
It's the total opposite of chasing random spot loads nationwide. That kind of stability is gold.
That consistency, whether it's from a niche trucking job or that off-duty income you're building, that's the foundation, isn't it?
It's absolutely vital. You need that predictable cash flow to navigate the chaos from fraud, AI, all of it.
Okay, so let's bring it all together for you, the listener. What's the bottom line here? It looks like the industry is splitting. The old system is shaking out the unprepared through crackdowns, through tough AI metrics. But it's also creating big opportunities for those who adapt, think like a business owner, and build that financial defense.
That's it, exactly. You have to take that same focus, that leadership you use in the cab, the planning, the control, the attention to detail, and apply it to your money, your health, your whole life outside the truck. Your future isn't just about freight rates anymore. It's about your mindset. You're the CEO of You, Inc. now.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. If that traditional OTR career feels increasingly shaky because of tech and these systemic problems, what's one non-trucking skill you could start learning this week that could potentially generate your first $100 in recurring off-duty income? Think about that. What could give you back the control the highway once seemed to offer?